for Jocelyn, Sarah, Grace, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they're full of compassion for the following conditions. You know, when you look online for the class, this is blocking the process. So it has to be lower. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. Like this. Otherwise,
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parachard Sutatara Sri Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parachard Sutatara Shata Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Se Kanho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakud Radhakud Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Yamuna Maya Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Naram Nayam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nastapraye Subhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavaduttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 45, Verse 47. Shri Guru Vacha Samyak Sampadito Vatsa Bhavadhyam Guru Nishkraya Konu Yushmad Vidaguro Kamanam avashishyate. Shri Guru Uvacha Samyak Sampadito Vatsa Bhavadbyam Guru Nishkraya Konu Yushmad Vida Guru Kamanam Avashishyate. Shri Guru Vacha Samyak Sampadito Vatsa Bhavadbyam Guru Nishkraya Konu Yushmad Vida Guru Kamanam Avashishyate. Please chant. Guru Vacha. Shri Guru Vacha, their spiritual master Sandipani Muni said, Samyak, completely, Sampaditaha, fulfilled, Vatsa, my dear boy, Bhavadbyam, by you too, Guru Nishkraya, the remuneration of one's Guru. Kaha, which new, indeed, Yusmat Vidaha, of persons like you, Guru, for the spiritual master, Kamanam, of his desires, Avashishyate, remains. Translation by the servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The spiritual master said, My dear boys, you too have completely fulfilled the disciple's obligation to reward his spiritual master. Indeed, with disciples like you, what further desires could a guru have? There's no purport. I'll read the Tika, I guess, for the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, What desires remain for the guru of persons like you? Therefore, being the guru of you in person, what desires could remain for me? And Jiva Goswami mentions, he calls out to Krishna alone, Vatsa, because of greater affection for him. What desire remains for a guru who has disciples like you? And what desire could remain for a guru who actually had you as disciples? So I was just going to go on and finish the chapter, because there's only a couple verses left. Gachatam swagriham virao kirtirvam astupavani chandam syayata yamani bhavantu iha paratracha. Translation. O heroes, now please return home. This is Sandipani Muni. May your fame sanctify the world, and may the Vedic hymns be ever fresh in your minds, both in this life and the next. Should I read the Tika too? Or? For this verse, Jiva Goswami writes, even though my house is your house, go to your house in Mathura out of conventional identity. Swagrahe is an alternative version. O heroes, Virao, you are heroes because of such gifts and such bravery. As the two boys offering respects were going, he gave blessings. May you have purifying fame. Text 49. Guru Naivam Anuknatau Ratinanilaram Hasa Ayatau Swapuram Tata Parjanya Nina Denavai. Translation. Thus receiving their guru's permission to leave, the two lords returned to their city on their chariot, which moved as swiftly as the wind and resounded like a cloud. Shiva Goswami writes on this verse, Anuknatau Swagaruna is another version. Swapuram, their own city, indicates affection with possessiveness for Mathura. They arrive swiftly like the wind, with the sound of the chariot rumbling like a cloud. Hearing the sound from far off, everyone came out to greet them. Shukadev exclaims, O son, Tata, out of great joy. Text 50. Samanandam praja sarva drishtva rama janardanau apashyantyo bahawani nashta labda dana iva. Translation. All the citizens rejoiced upon seeing Krishna and Balaram, whom they had not seen for many days. The people felt just like those who have lost their wealth and then regained it. Jiva Goswami writes, the residents of Mathura and others as well were overjoyed. Some saw Krishna and Balaram on the road, and others had come to this city. There's a long Sanskrit verse that I'm not going to read, but I'll read the translation. And that's from Harivamsa. All the Yadus rose to greet Krishna and Balaram. With Ugrasena in front, along with the army, with joyous minds, the artisans, the princes, ministers, priests, along with the young and old, approached. Musical instruments played, satisfying Krishna. The streets shone with flags and garlands everywhere. The palace was completely joyous with the arrival of Govinda, as if a sacrifice for Indra. Joyful minstrels, dear to the Yadus, sang foremost songs of victory on the main roads. When the famous brothers Krishna and Balaram arrived, all the citizens played with their friends without fear. There was no misery, contamination, or lifelessness in that city when Krishna arrived in Mathura, O king. The birds sang sweetly. The cows, horses, and elephants were jubilant. All the men and women had contented minds. Auspicious, pure wind blew in all directions. All the devatas were happy in their abodes. All the symptoms of Satya Yuga appeared when Krishna arrived in the city. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 10th canto, 45th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna Rescues His Teacher's Son. Om Gyana Timarandus Yagananjana Chakshu Militam Yena Dasnai Shri Stapitam Yena Buddha Hey Krishna Korana Sindho Dina Pando Jagatate Gopesha Gopikanta Radhakanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Sutta Devi Mami Vanchakalpatrivishcha Kripa Sindhivyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. Please say a prayer that I may say something of value and of use and of praise to the devotees and the Lord. I know I always say as a disclaimer about my nerves, and it never ceases to amaze me. And then just before coming over, I went into the restroom downstairs to you can do this, kind of like mentally prepare in the mirror, and then I was like, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'll just practice smiling really, really big, and that, because my face looked kind of like nervous and morose, so I just started, maybe it was like smile yoga or something. Anyways, so please forgive me if I slip up, and, I'm trying here. So, we're finishing up this chapter here. I was going to read the end of the Krishna book chapter, if that's okay. Anyways, I'm going to start from where Krishna is. He has the conch shell, and he's visiting Yamaraj, trying to get the son of his spiritual master back. Hearing the vibration, Yamaraj appeared and received Sri Krishna with all respectful obeisances. Yamaraj could understand who Krishna and Balaram were, and therefore he immediately offered his humble service to the Lord. Krishna appeared on the surface of the earth like an ordinary human being, but actually Krishna and Balaram are the Suka soul living within the heart of every living entity. They are Vishnu himself, but were playing just like ordinary human boys. When Yamaraj offered his services to the Lord, Sri Krishna asked him to return his teacher's son, who had come to him as a result of his work. Considering my ruling supreme, said Krishna, you should immediately return the son of my teacher. Yamaraj returned the boy to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna and Balaram brought him to his father. The brothers asked if their teacher had anything more to ask from them, but he replied, my dear sons, you have done enough for me. I am now completely satisfied. What further want can there be for a man who has disciples like you? My dear boys, you may now go home. These glorious acts of yours will always be renowned all over the world. You are above all blessing, yet it is my duty to bless you. I therefore give you the benediction that whatever you speak will remain as eternally fresh as the instructions of the Vedas. Your teachings will be honored not only within this universe or in this millennium, but in all places and ages, and will remain increasingly new and important. Due to this benediction from his teacher, Lord Krishna's Bhagavad Gita is ever increasingly fresh and is renowned not only within this universe, but in other planets and other universes also. Being ordered by their teacher, Krishna and Balaram immediately returned home on their chariot. They traveled at great speed like the wind and made sounds like the crashing of clouds. All the residents in Mathura who had not seen Krishna and Balaram for a long time were very much pleased to see them again. They felt joyful, like a person who has regained his lost property. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 45th chapter of Krishna. Krishna recovers the son of his teacher. So in this chapter, just to kind of sum it up, we see Krishna and Balaram. Previously they had just finished off Kamsa and his wrestling brigade. And then they freed Vasudeva and Devaki. And then Krishna installed Ugrasena as the new king. And then Krishna and Balaram were consoling their parents. And then I think, and then Krishna goes to live, Krishna and Balaram go to live with Sandipani Muni and learn this 64 arts in 64 days, I think it is. And then, due to their excellent discipleship, I guess you could say, the spiritual master is amazed, and they ask what dakshin he would like, and they asked for he asked for the return of his son, and then there's this whole pastime which we just went through, and then it seems to have like a happy ending where Krishna returns in Mathura, and everyone's blissed out because they've been missing him. We don't know how long he's been gone for, at least a couple months. Anyways, some points that came to mind just with this chapter and going over it, where the Krishna and Balaram obviously are the supreme controllers, and each story, we get an example time and time again, showing how they ultimately are the supreme controllers, but they're also trying to satisfy the devotees and satisfy and reciprocate with the devotees and annihilate the demons. And Krishna and Balaram, everything they do, it's not just like one and done. Everything has this ripple effect. Like Drishta Prabhu was saying yesterday about Muchakunda. You can read that pastime, but that's like a pastime that's ongoing for thousands of years and lifetimes, and a lot of these demons and devotees in Krishna's pastimes, it's like a play that's going on. It almost seems eternally, but it's just it's unraveling, it's unfolding constantly, and that kind of, I was just remarking about how that, so when they do something, it's not just one and done. It affects everybody. So similarly, like being Krishna and Balaram are showing by example how to be the ideal disciple, and giving an example of the guru-disciple relationship. And by doing that, the guru helps to impart Krishna consciousness in service to Krishna, and that's kind of like a ripple effect. If we do follow the spiritual master's instructions, then we get that like Krishna conscious ripple, and then what we do will affect everybody else with that Krishna conscious ripple. And then of course I was thinking of Srila Prabhupada, who is also an example of like the perfect disciple, just by taking, I don't know if it was just one instruction in a letter about spreading Krishna consciousness, or several times that you heard it mentioned about, like coming to the West and preaching Krishna consciousness in English, and just how with that like simple instruction, taking it to heart, taking taking it really to heart, and meditating on it, that it just like the ripple went out a millionfold. It's still going to this day, and it keeps going. That's the power of this, like this Krishna consciousness and this disciplic succession, I should say. Just Srila Prabhupada's example specifically is very mind-blowing, because you can practically see how just one person taking instructions to heart can have so much effect. So I was reflecting on that. Also, a lot that that devotees have been bringing up in class was the idea of gratitude and being grateful. I was looking up gratitude just because we say these words a lot, but sometimes I like to look up the definition. And the Oxford definition for gratitude is the quality of being thankful, the readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. And I don't know, gratitude kind of seems like maybe a catchphrase nowadays, or maybe that lost a little bit of meaning, but you need to have gratitude for, I'm specifically thinking of Prabhupada just because of that example, but gratitude for devotees, gratitude for what, just even getting a little bit of mercy to discover Krishna consciousness in a world that, there's endless ways to get lost eternally, basically. So that idea of being grateful is very important for the heart, and it's sometimes not so easy. There's a lot of heart work that needs to be done. Sometimes it can be painful. But it's kind of like so it's like a reciprocation. You're grateful what you receive, and then you give that out, and then you get more. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure everyone's had a practical example. So I was also looking up some examples of Prabhupada. Well, I was looking up grateful and gratitude and Vedabase and Vanapedia, and Srila Prabhupada's always grateful. And then it's amazing how many letters. I know he maybe didn't handwrite every letter, but he dictated so many thousands of letters, and he was grateful and for so many things. I'll just read a couple quotes where Prabhupada is showing his gratefulness to his disciples for helping him to execute his spiritual master's desires and mission. The Krishna consciousness is certainly the need for the Western countries. I think timely I have come to your country, and if the younger generation like you will cooperate with me, I am certain this movement will give the Western youngsters a transcendental gift which will be recorded in the progress of history. I am so much grateful to you and other devotees of the Krishna Consciousness Society that it gives me a great pride that Krishna has given me association with such nice boys. That's a letter, August 19th, 1968. Here's another quote, and this is seems to be dealing with somebody's health, which is not the usual kind of thing you see, but when I received the news sent me by your husband to Jayananda that you are going to be operated, I was a little bit perturbed, but immediately I submitted my prayer to Krishna, and I am so glad that Krishna is so merciful. He has saved your life and your baby. It is very much pleasing to me, so I am so much grateful to Krishna, and you should also know that how much grateful we should all be to Krishna. And I'll just read one more. You are the real representatives of Lord Chaitanya. Without caring for any stable home, without any thought of personal gain, you are traveling, distributing Krishna consciousness everywhere you go. I am very grateful to you, both for assisting me so energetically, and I pray to Krishna that you both live for at least 100 years so that you may spread Krishna consciousness to the full extent. So these are just examples of, and there's so many others of Prabhupada being grateful, seemingly just to they're exalted devotees, but they probably would think that, I'm so low and Prabhupada is just being so grateful to me and I've done nothing, But it just goes to show being humble and grateful is a key to Krishna consciousness. So those were some points I was thinking of. Does anyone have any questions or comments or realizations?
Talking about gratitude, what a great subject that is. How important it is for our spiritual lives to develop this sense of gratitude, because everything has been given to us, everything. Mm-hmm. And so not to be grateful is to be offensive, really. Because when somebody gives you something extraordinary and the person is still not satisfied, that is inconceivable. It really is inconceivable. Interesting to see how Prabhupada, who's given us everything, and he's grateful to his disciples. Like you say, maybe we haven't done anything, and somehow or other he's expressing gratitude. So this is something that really needs to be cultivated in every second of our lives, to see how Krishna is interacting in our lives, how our spiritual master is guiding us, and that we don't deserve it, and still we're being given everything. And not to be grateful is an offense. It really is an offense. Mm-hmm. Thank you for a very nice class, Prabhu.
Thank you for sharing.
Actually, Srila Prabhupada was given the instruction by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his first meeting that you should go preach in the English language. So Prabhupada put that in his heart at the very, very beginning, and he had other reinforcements, but that's the kind of determination that it takes to follow through with our service. And Prabhupada had a long time between the time he first heard that and when he went. I mean, he heard that first instruction in 1922, and he didn't leave for America until 1965. So we're talking a long time. Mm-hmm. But he kept it in his heart. So if we keep the order of the spiritual master in our heart, it may not manifest completely for a long time, but eventually it will. So that's a very important point. Haribo.
Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Besides making good prasada, best. Yeah. Next one is play violin.
What's that?
Play violin.
Okay.
Next. Hare Krishna.
No, when I was growing up, I played,
I know.
but I could still play a little bit. I don't have it.
I remember you said in class. I remember you were a young boy and you talked about your father.
Oh yeah.
You see, I listened to your class, brother.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Enam Kanvandam Aravindadalayataksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Angani Yasa Sakalem Kriya Vriti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham.
Jana Nita Gorachandra Paramakaruna Ondrijana Nitai Gorachandra Paramakaruna Poundwijana Nitai Gorachandra Paramakaruna Poundwijana Nitai Gorachandra Saba Avatara Saroshiramane Kevalananda Kanda Saba Avatara Saroshiramane Kevalananda Kanda Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Surida Vishvasa Kori Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Surida Vishvasa Kori Vishaya Chadiya Sera Se Magia Mukke Bolo Hari Hari Vishayacharya Sepade Magia Mukke Bolo Hari Hari Deka Ori Bai Tribhuvani Nai Emana Dayala Data Yore Bai Tribhuvane Nai Emana Dayala Data Pashupake Jure Pashana Vidare Shuni Jaraguna Gata Pashupake Jure Pashana Vidare Shuni Jaraguna Gata Samsare Magia Rohili Puriya Sepade Ratna Hilo Asha Samsare Magia Rohili Puriya Sepade Mahila Asha Apanakaroma Bunjaye Shamana Kahole Yelochana Dasa Apanakarama Jay Shamana Kahole Yelochana Dasa Apanakarama Bunjaye Samana Kahole Yelochana Dasa Apanakarama Bunjaye Shamana Kahole Yelochana Dasa Paramakaruna Poundwijana Nitai Gorachandra Paramakaruna Poundwijana Nitai Gorachandra Saba Avatara Saroshiramane Kevalananda Kanda Avatare Saroshiramane Kevalananda Kanda Jaya Gornitai 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 Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Hari Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe 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 Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya 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 Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai. The two lords, Nitai Gaura Chandra, Lord Nitai and Lord Chaitanya, are very merciful. They are the essence of all incarnations, and their specific significance is that prosecuting their way of self-realization is simply joyful. They introduce chanting and dancing. My dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. If one gives up sense gratification to be Krishna conscious by this process, one is sure to reach the desired goal. One simply has to chant Hare Krishna Hare without any sense gratifying motive. My dear brother, you just try and examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda, because their merciful qualities are so great that they make even birds and beasts cry. What to speak of human beings? And souls will melt at the chanting. My dear mind, you are entrapped in sense gratification and have no attraction for any Hare Krishna. Since you have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, what can I say? I can simply weep my misfortune. Srila Loshan Das Thakur ki jai. And a quick announcement before we do the Shashastika is this Friday, June 30th, in a couple days, is last Friday in Hillsborough, which is a big event where lots of people come to the restaurants and there's bands and things out. So a lot of people are going to be in town. They do it every last Friday for most of the year, except for the winter. So Friday, the day after tomorrow, we'll be there between 6 and 8, and we're going to be on the corner of Churton and Margaret, which is right downtown, not at our usual spot at Weaver Street. And there'll be lots of people there, so please come for Harinam Sankirtan on Friday evening between 6 and 8. Hare Krishna. Chaito Darpana Marjanam Baba Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreyakairavya Nirvitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Bhuni Vardhanam Pratidanam Burnam Rita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Dharmijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Baruch.
Baudani Sarasaktis, Tata Britannia Mita, Ismaranina Kala,
Tadrishit Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tororapi Sahishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Tad Bhaktir Ahoita Ki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankajas Dita Duli Sadrishim Vachintaya Nayanam Galashu Daraya Varanam Gadgada Hridaya Gira Pulakar Nishitam Vapukada Tava Namagrahane Bhavishyati Yuga Yatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahename Ashlishyava Padaratam Panastumam Adarshanam Marmata Karotuva Yatatatava Vindatolam Padomat Prananatastusa Evanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benedictions living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names. In these names you have manifested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.